L.4.7 takes us to another form of linear functions. So far we know standard form and slope-intercept form. This is the last form that you will learn for linear functions, known as point-slope form. So point-slope form, which you should already have a heads up on, is y, subtract y sub 1, y sub 1 being a value we're going to replace in there from a point, equals m. What does m stand for in our linear equations? Slope. Times, in parentheses, x subtract x sub 1, and again we're also going to put in the x value from our point in that one. So, where x and y come, x sub 1, y sub 1 come from a point on the line. Doesn't matter which point, as long as it is a point that is on that actual line. And where m is the slope of the line. So, as I said, our first learning goal today is I can graph a linear function using point-slope form. So in number 1, they've given us the linear function in point-slope form. First thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to identify what is the point that is identified in that equation, and then use this, and then what is the slope, and then we'll use that point as our starting point, and that slope to help us make at least 2 other points, because remember I have a minimum of 3. I think the book has you doing 2 of them. That's you 3 are, but okay. So what is the ordered pair name of the point that is represented in that equation? Y minus 1 equals 2 times x minus 3. What's the ordered pair that is shown in there? Look at the formula or the model for point-slope form above. Y subtract y sub 1 equals m times x subtract x sub 1, where x sub 1, y sub 1 are the points, and m is the slope. -3, -1. What is it in there? What is it in the model? Isn't it subtraction already? Okay, so if it is subtraction, what is being subtracted? So 1 is being subtracted, so that's our y sub 1 right there. 3 is being subtracted, so that's our x sub 1 right there. And here's our slope. So our point is ordered pair what? 3, 1. The x value always comes first in the ordered pair, and the y value follows it. And the slope is 2. Okay, what are the 2 ways we could graph that using that slope as rise over run? What's one way? What's one way to graph a slope of 2? Noah?
Up 2 units over 1 unit.
1 over 1, which direction?
Right.
Right, so then both of them are positive. Up 2 is positive, over 1 to the right is a positive. Is 2 over 1, positive 2 over positive 1, does that divide out to 2?
Yeah.
Okay, or what's the other way we can use 2 to help us graph more points? -2 over -1, we can go down 2, left 1, because a -2 divided by a -1 is a positive 2. So what we have now is we have our starting points. We're going to go to ordered pair 3, 1, and we're going to put a point on the graph at ordered pair 3, 1. And then we're going to use, I don't like how mine is really on there. I'll try it again. I think I'll use another color too. So 3, 1. And we're going to use from that point, we're going to go up 2 over 1, make another point. Or we can go down 2 over 1 and make another point. And I'll get some rulers out to you to use the straight edges to draw your lines. Don't worry about it. So draw the line through your 3 points, extending it all the way through the coordinate plane, and arrows at both ends because we know that line actually goes on infinitely in both directions. So instead of using the y-intercept as our starting point, we picked a point from the equation as our starting point, used the slope still to get other points. Can you tell from your graph right now what the y-intercept appears to be? What do you estimate the y-intercept to be? About 2.5? Really?
Oh, never mind.
Negative line.
Okay, so it's crossing right here. So it
-5.
appears it's at crossing at -5. And so what should happen is if we actually took this equation in point slope form, this is something you should have been doing in your SQ3Rs. We took that equation and got it solved for y, got the y alone, got it in slope intercept form, we should discover that apparently it appears the y-intercept would be -5. Did you have to do some of that in your SQ3R yesterday?
Yes.
You had to take an equation in point slope form and put it into slope intercept form. Okay? So if we did, it appears that this one would turn out to be y equals 2x subtract 5. But we're gonna do that tomorrow. Okay? Any questions on that one? Okay, I want you just first of all, before you even start graphing, I want you to identify what is the ordered pair, what's the point that you can pick out of that equation, and what's the slope. And then we'll decide if we're right before we start graphing it. Okay, so go ahead, write on your paper. What do you think is the point that you can start with? And what is the slope? I'm actually going to move that down because I want to do something. Okay, who wants to talk about what they think the point is that that equation is giving us? Candace? -2.4, did I hear? Okay, how many of you want to agree with Candace that that would be the point that we can pick out of that equation? Okay, that is the correct point. Why is it -2 instead of +2? In the last one, we just grabbed the 1 and we grabbed the 3. Why could we do that? Or maybe I should add on to that question, why is the 2 negative and then the 4 is positive? What would be the reason for it? What's the first thing we can do that'll help us be able to pick that out properly? We can write it as the model goes. The model goes y subtract, well this already is subtraction, so no reason to change it. And then we have -3/4. And it's not subtraction here, so we change it to subtraction. So we say x subtract, and the opposite of the number that's being added. What's the opposite of 2? -2. So we rewrite it in the form that we need it in to help us be able to identify the point properly. So it is ordered pair -2/4. Okay, what's the slope? What's the slope of this line? -3/4. Okay, go ahead and graph now. No writing tool, Sage?
No.
So what are the two ways we can do the slope? -3 over +4, or what's the other way? Instead of making the rise negative and the run positive, we can make the rise positive and the run negative. So we have to make sure we know how to work with the slope properly. Let's stay in the habit of, after we graph the lines, let's go and check, do we like the behavior of the line considering what the slope was? So in that first one we did, the slope was a +2. So what should our line be doing according to the fact that it has a positive slope? What kind of behavior should it have?
Going up.
going up from, because you can look at the line and say it's going up no matter what.
Going up from -2 towards.
From
two
left to
towards right.
right across the page. It should be rising from left to right as it is doing. It is rising from left to right. This one has a negative slope, so what should it be doing?
Following.
It should be falling from left to right. So again, you want to double check yourself and make sure that at least what the slope behavior says is was the result that you got. So any questions on that one? Okay, then let's go on to this last one. I'm going to first rewrite it so it has subtraction both places. Y subtract what? -3. 0. It already has subtraction, no need to change it. So what's our point for this one? It's going to be our point that we can start with on the graph. Its ordered pair name.
-4, -3.
-4, -3? Is -4 being subtracted from the x? No, +4 is. So it's just this +4 right here. So we have +4, and what's being subtracted from the y? -3. So there's our ordered pair, our point to start with. And what's our slope? 0. How do you graph a 0 slope? How do you graph a 0? What kind of a line has a 0 slope? A horizontal line. So let's just write that. This is a horizontal line. Because it has a 0 slope. So we really only, this is when you have a horizontal or a vertical, that's the only time you get away with just graphing one point, okay? So we can graph this point, ordered pair 4, -3, and draw ourselves a horizontal line going through that point. And make sure you extend it out past so that you can tell it's not the x-axis. Sometimes it gets confused with the x-axis or the y-axis if they're horizontal or they're vertical. Okay. Oh, sorry, sir. Any questions on being able to graph from point slope form? Okay, in your homework, what I expect you to do is I expect you to show what we just did. What is the ordered pair that you put on the graph to start with? What started you out? And what is the slope that you use to help you get the other points? And then you'll be able to go on to graphing them. So no concerns at all.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's go to the back and see what we're doing back there. We're doing one other thing today. It says I can write linear equations in point slope form. So write the equation of the line in point slope form. So number 4, we have a line that has a slope of 1/5 and a point on it of -2,6. So 1/5 is our what? What variable is that? What is it? What variable do we use for slope? M. What's our -2?
Or y value, or x value.
Our x sub 1 value. What's 6?
Y.
Our y sub 1 value. So we're going to put into our y minus what?
6.
6 equals, what's going in for m? Our 1/5. X take away what?
-2.
-2. That subtraction sign does not take the place of the negative. And then we just have to clean this up is all now. So in other words, this is what it was like before it got cleaned up. So we are just going to get rid of that subtracted negative and make it what? X
X plus 2.
plus 2. Add the opposite. The opposite of -2 is +2. Here's our equation in point slope form. So in the front, we were given them in point slope form. We extracted from it the information we needed to help us graph it. Here, they're giving us the slope and a point and saying, you write the equation now in point slope form. Okay, try the next one on your own. We're substituting into the model, and then, excuse me, decide if there's anything else you should do with it. Now, I will tell you this, we do not clean up zeros, okay? We do not clean up zeros. We just clean up signs when we have double signs going on. Was there any cleaning up to do? No. So, like I said, because if we took that zero out of there, then we would have, we just have that x there, and it would no longer show the point slope form. Even though we would be able to surmise that, yes, it must have been zero that was getting subtracted from x because it's not there showing. But typically, I think, especially in this book, they just leave that zero there and in the point slope form. Okay? Here's what some of you were trying to do on couple of those last assignments we had in lesson 4.6, when we hadn't done any problems where you were given 2 points, and that first time you did it, it said, hint, find the slope first. But you did not remember, apparently, that when we were going through the notes, I said to you, when you work with the slope and a point to try and write the equation of the line, you can use any of the points you want on the line. But the fact that there were 2 points there confused you. So then you started digging around, and some of you ventured into the next lesson and found out this right here and started to do it this way because you didn't think you knew any other way. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the slope given these 2 points that are on the line. So what do we have to use to find slope?
So
y sub 2 minus y sub 1, x sub 2 minus x sub 1 downstairs, right? Okay, so which one should we have be our x sub 1 and y sub 1? Should we just do it in the order it is? So x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So what's going to be upstairs?
-3
minus 3.
Okay, -3, take away the 3. Downstairs,
10 minus
10, take away the 9. Some of us aren't even able to use the slope formula yet. That should not be the case anymore. You should at least be able to use the slope formula at this point of the chapter. Plus you guys did this before you got to me. -3, take away 3 is? -6. 10 take away 9 is? 1. -6 divided by 1 is? -6. So we just found out that m equals -6. So when you have a problem like this where there's more than 1 point, tomorrow when we're correcting the assignment, you're going to see that there are going to be 2 different answers, and both of them will be considered correct. You have to have one or the other because there are 2 different points to use that you know to help you find the equation. So let's work with that m equals -6 and ordered pair 9, 3 first. Let's do it with that one first here. We'll do both of them in our notes. So what's the equation now in point slope form? What will it be? Y, take away what? 3 equals
-6
-6 times
x minus 9.
x take away 9. Does that need any cleaning up?
Nope.
Nope. So there's one of the names. Or, just put a big or here because you don't have to do both of them, but you are going to in your notes. Or we could work with the slope and we could work with ordered pair 10, -3. So now we are going to substitute into our point slope form. Y take away -3. The y value is a -3 equals -6 times x take away 10. Does that mean cleaning up?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we going to clean it up to be?
Y.
Y plus 3 equals -6. Do we need to clean up the x minus 10? No, that can stay like it is. Okay, so there's the other name. They're both point slope form, both still the same line. Anybody know what should happen if I told you to solve this one for y and solve that one for y, get y by itself, get it all simplified down, cleaned up, what should be true? What do you think should be true?
We should get, point slope form.
No, it wouldn't be point slope form, this is point slope form.
Oh,
If you get it solved for y, what form is that?
It's be y equals whatever x is equal.
So intercept form, y equals mx plus b. What should happen when you do that with both of these? What do you think should happen?
It'll be the same.
It better be the same. There is only one slope-intercept name for an equation, for a linear equation. Any linear equation, any line only has one slope-intercept form name. It has how many point-slope form names do you think?
Billion.
Lots, yeah, an infinite number, because any point on that line, along with the slope, can be used to give it a point slope form name. But simplified, solve for y, put into slope intercept form, they better all be the same thing. Better get you to the same line. Okay? Which we'll be doing that tomorrow. So any questions about writing the equation in point slope form with the slope and one of the points from the line? Okay, then once you have a sheet of loose leaf paper that you can use to get your heading on and start your homework, and I'll get the graphs handout to you here in a little bit.
So,